Hello everyone, I'm Fallout 4 guy and welcome to the behind the scenes video to my motorhome stroke Trudys Salvage Yard video. If you didn't see that tour, the original tour, then please go and check that out first. You know, I like you guys to see the proper things where everything's all working, all the doors work and the gadgets and gizmos. I will be in workshop mode as you can see in this one, so obviously I can't interact with things. But yeah, the link to that's in the description, as with all the mods used are also in the description, and some convenient timestamps for you as well. Okay, so I am going to start with the motorhome. I'm going to jump straight in it and not waste too much time, because I know that's probably what most people want to know about. But of course I will talk about the entire build at the end. But yeah, so without further ado, so the motorhome, I'll just give you a little bit of backstory to why I built this in the first place. I had built a motorhome about a year ago now. It's on my channel. It's called something like Mobile Big Rig Workbench Anywhere or something like that. At the time I thought it was good, but you know, a year ago I've obviously developed new skills and things, and you know, I think it's pretty shit to be fair now, but for some reason it's one of my most popular videos, and I wanted to kind of do a revised version of that, showing, like, you know, kind of the evolution of my build skills and things I've got better at building. So yeah, that was why I redid it, and I am very pleased with this version. I don't like my original. I think it's shit, you know. By all means go check it out, but I think you'll find this is a better version, mainly because I built this one from scratch. My first one that I did was just, well, I didn't really know any better, so I just used the base vehicle, used a truck and a trailer basically, and I just kind of like built around that and just furnished it from the inside. It wasn't very technical, you know. It took about, I think I did it in a weekend, so it wasn't trying to be anything impressive, but yeah, so that's kind of why I built this. And in the end, after I'd built the motorhome, I kind of thought, oh, you know, I wish I'd have built this just somewhere a bit more scenic, like on a cliff or something. And I'd kind of just chose this Drumlin Diner location. I don't know why, I just thought, oh, let's just set up here. And then I realised I needed to decorate this place as well, because it kind of, the contrast didn't look right. They had this real detailed motorhome, and then Bethesda's really sparse shop that just didn't seem to fit what I'd built. So yeah, so that's kind of the story behind it. But the build process itself, as with my last few vehicles that you may have seen in my other videos, there's no base vehicle, as I said, and that always presents its own problems. And you can see as I'm hovering over all the different objects used for this. So I did start with like a floor piece is all I started with. I literally just put a normal floor piece down, realised that wasn't quite big enough, and put another 2 half pieces down. So it's a floor and a half roughly, the floor size, give or take. I think from there you can see where the floor ends, and then that extends a little bit more, but the actual inside interior is a floor and a half, so it's not very big, but it's based on these UPS style vehicles, so I kind of wanted the approximate size to sort of look like it matched the real counterpart vans that the delivery guys use. So of course the size was sort of perfect for that really. I just had to try and cram a lot of stuff in. Now, as I mentioned in the original tour, I wanted the interior to sort of look as compact as possible, and I didn't want anything glitching out, which is excuse me, which is the problem that I had throughout the whole build really, was trying to get everything to fit in. So I chose these metal panels for the walls. Now they're just floor panels, most of them. Some of them are the shack walls as well, the balconies, just to get different textures and things, but most of them are the floor panels from USO, and they're just tilted on their sides. So of course, because the walls are really thin, you know, like I had to do different layers of that to make it look a little bit tougher than just a thin little layer. So there's quite a few different layers of panels and boards and things, as you can see. And then the framework, which makes it look a little bit more solid, is just conduit, and you can see I've sort of tilted them all, because that's the normal conduit, just straight. So I've just tilted them all on the sides at different angles. And I got the idea of that from the, if you guys play GTA Online, you'll probably recognise that sort of shape from the armoured Boxville. And it's got this piping around it. Very similar shaped van as well. And I just thought it looked kind of cool to have, you know, this a bit more interesting than having just a flat wall with just a few different textures on. And it makes it look a bit sturdier. So that's all that is really. The tilting itself is done by QwaPA, as probably most of you know now. I talk about it a lot. It really is one of the best mods, if not the best mod on PlayStation 4 in my opinion, because it allows us to make anything we like really. We're just tilting the original textures and objects already in there. But the way you kind of want to get this as even as possible, because obviously when you're building these things with no base, symmetry is going to be a challenge always, trying to get each side level. And what I find helps me at least, and I don't know if other people do this, I'm sure you guys have maybe figured some of this out, but you get your tilting box, your initial starter, and you know, to make sure everything's symmetrical, don't just use one box. I have, like, I think for this one I had about 10 boxes, I think, all set up at various angles that I knew were, like, one was the hood angle, for example, you know, one was the windshield angle. If you look, it's slightly like on a decline there, so very slight tilting means that, you know, you can't replicate it each time by using just one box, so you have to have lots of different ones set up. And that's one of the great things about QwaPA, is that you can do that and you can just switch between different angles quickly. So all the way through the build, I'm working off these 10, or I might have had more, I don't know, at least 10 boxes that all set at different angles, which allowed me to quickly tilt to sort of as precise as I could get, you know, to make it all even and make everything symmetrical. So yeah, so on for some of the actual objects used. So the bumper, I'll start with that because I'm at the front. The bumper is a lot of different railings basically. Most are from USO, and I think one of them, possibly that one, is from Akiras Clutter, I think. Again, all my mods are in the description, so if you just get my mods, you'll end up having these parts. But yeah, they're obviously tilted. As you can see, I've tilted that one its side, and I think that one might be from Akiras Clutter as well, because it's a slightly smaller version that I use for the middle mount of it, and tilted. And then the bottom one and the rest are just from USO, again tilted. So yeah, so the bumper itself is just many different pieces, and then the front I've just kind of made look a little bit chunky with barrels and things. You can see it's quite boxy without that in. It doesn't look, I don't know, I wouldn't say not look realistic, but it looks a bit boring. So just by having the barrels and things in there, just a bit more interesting looking. And then the posts, again, same principle. Looked a bit shit with the edges just all sharp and metal panelled. It looks crap. So I'll just put these posts on just to give it a bit of an outline really. They are from either CVA or Toys at the Prams post supports and beams mod. I think it might be his, to be honest, but I think they're in both mods anyway, so whichever. And yeah, so I've just sort of tilted those. The wheel arches, which were one of the things I really wanted to do, I've always sort of done vehicles and tried to make sort of wheel arches that look sort of realistic, but one of the things I hated about all the ones I did before were I couldn't actually see inside the actual arch, and I really wanted to do that this time round. And I shouldn't have really picked this vehicle to do on, to be honest, because it was hard enough as it was. But yeah, they are just benches that were sort of just flipped up and then just doubled. I've got two benches basically to make the arch, but it has like this great effect that I could sort of see through into the actual underneath of the van. But once I'd put these in, because it was one of the first things I did put in, I realised straight away, I was like, fuck, how am I going to hide this inside now, because I've got these benches sticking out inside. It wasn't so bad with the cab, because you can see that the cab sort of starts where the benches are really. You can kind of see them in the floor there. That wasn't too bad, because obviously I knew I could stack all the driving stuff on top of that, but I knew that I'd have these benches stuck here inside. And of course it's pretty obvious how I got around it. I just built up into the back, so you kind of step up. But at the time I was thinking, oh shit, like how am I going to hide these? And it turns out that I think actually having to have the challenge of hiding them has made the actual interior a little bit more interesting, because it's not all on one level, and sometimes you do have in these motorhomes, you do have like a little step up sometimes in different parts of it. So I just think it made it look better. But at the time, yeah, it was like, oh shit, I'll worry about that later. I'll just put it in and then tried to work around it near the end of the build when I actually did decorate it, which was quite late in the process really. So yeah, so the other thing that I kind of played around with quite a bit was the windshield itself. I could not decide on how I wanted to do the windows for this, and I did originally have just one big window, and the glass itself is just from the vault pieces. I can't click it there because of this stupid, what's that, the shower head. The shower heads I use for the wing mirrors seem to have like a quick, real big hitbox. I could still target it now. Get rid of that. I still can't click on it. So okay, you can see there's a door, a gel door there for the bars. The glass itself is just the vault window, the rectangular one. But then I've got like a locker piece as well for a kind of sun visor type thing. And then I did this little bit here just because, I don't know, I thought the windshield being so big looked a bit shit. I just thought it needed something extra or something more interesting. So I put this refrigerator door and the fan behind it, as I thought it just looked a bit cool. I really like these fans. I don't know, I kind of use them a lot in different things for different types of stuff, but I think it's quite cool to have like an animated effect going on. So and then I put another fan there as well because, you know, keep the driver cool, etc. So, but the idea of the windshield was basically just to make it look as interesting as possible, but still make it kind of look tough. So there's lots of different things involved there, and then the poles and things as well, just to continue the look of the frame. Because without all the supports and things, it does kind of look a bit weak. It doesn't look. It's not trying to be an armoured truck as such, but it doesn't look like very sturdy. Really, it looks like, you know, it would just fall apart without all the supports and things. So yeah, the decoration of it came late as well, because I kind of built this without really knowing exactly how I was going to have it look at the end. I knew I was going to do detailing, but I didn't really know, like, other than like a rusty kind of look to it, that what I was actually going to put on it. And as soon as I put the hanging buoys on, which are from USO and, you know, the Far Harbour DLC, as soon as I put those on, I was like, right, that's it now. I've got to have a trailer with a boat on the back. So just simply me putting these on was what made me want to build the trailer, really. And yeah, so the boat thing sort of came along after that, and I think, I don't know, it just kind of made sense more so, really, just to have a trailer in there, because the storage inside wasn't very big, and I thought, okay, like, you know, I need some way of putting more stuff in. So the trailer sort of came from that. The trailer, actually, I'll talk about that now because it's quite simple to put together. It wasn't that hard. I built this pretty quick. It is just made literally of conduits and a bit of wood, tilted. Same method as before, getting the right angle set up, and then I can just, you know, quickly reproduce the exact angle I want. There is a little bit of custom stuff in here. The little wheel is a Automatron part, I think, but it was added to me by Toys at the Pram again. His mod is in my description. It's called Fallout 4 guy requested, and all these little bits are in here if you want them. So yeah, he just scaled down the existing Automatron wheel for me and popped it in. I just tilted it on its angle, and then the little bracket I put on is just something from OCD. I think it is, yeah, transmitted from OCD. And I just thought it looked like it, you know, like it's screwed in, and so you basically, like, you just drop that off and it swings down, and then that would be a support when you take this trailer off. Tires are from CVA. All the little parts are mainly, it's all conduit, really. This whole thing's built out of kind of conduits, even the nut that holds the wheel on. And then the wheel arches, as I say, I like wheel arches. They're just mirrors tilted. I believe they're from Akiras Clutter as well. Might be mistaken, but I think they are. And yeah, they're just tilted at different angles to make the wheel arch. Planks of wood from CVA. Another locker door tilted. The license plate, again, requested from me by and put in by Toys at the Pram. He's such a great guy. He put me in a nice little number plate in. Swan boats, again CVA. All the nets, there's actually quite a few nets there. If I just move the boat, you can see there's multiple nets on top. The reason why I put nets on, other than the fact that it looks a bit, you know, fishing type theme, was just because I couldn't actually figure out a way to sort of tie this down with any guy ropes or anything. So because I had nothing to tie it down, I didn't like the way it just looked like it was balancing on there, so I draped these nets over, which I think are from Akiras Clutter, but from the add-on packs that he's got on his mod, Far Harbour one probably. And yeah, I just thought it looked a bit more secure, like it got these nets draping down. So that was the only reason I put that in, really. Tail lights again from Toys Out of Pram. The reason why I wanted those is because I did have red emergency lights on, and the light just really bleeds through the sides. It looks terrible. Can't really see it too much in the day there, but it was bleeding into the back of the trailer when these lights on, and yeah, it was no good. So I asked him if he could make me some dummy ones that don't actually light up. So I think that's about it on the trailer. Chains are from Akiras, I think. Doors are fake, they don't actually do anything, which I can't click. So yeah, they are fake. There's a double layer of doors. Actually, the doors on the inside that you can see are a separate door. They're not this actual door. There's two layers of doors because I wanted this wall to be slightly thicker, just to hide a few different things. But yeah, so doors don't work. But that's why I've got the chain on anyway. So it's a bit of an illusion. But the same as this door really, actually, because this door, of course, does open. It's a red rocket door, but I wanted it to look a little bit more secure than the red rocket door looks. It's got like a big open window, so I'll just put shack balconies and a bit of wire fence on it. The wheels are also from CVA. There is two wheels though. They are a little bit thin, as you can see there. That's just one on its own, and it didn't look quite right having these little thin, weak looking wheels, so I've doubled the wheels up, so there's two tyres, like, as you can see, sunk into each other. And then the hubcap, which you can't see in the light there, let's go on the other side, is a super mutant hat. Well, I can't move it, it's obviously bugged. That's it. But yeah, that was added again by Toys Out of Pram, just because, well, I knew I wanted that, but I couldn't be bothered to go and get the go and get super mutant hats for it, basically. So he stuck those in conveniently for me. So I think that might be all of the outside. I did mention that he made the hula bobblehead for me as well. So like I say, if you guys want any of these parts, then just check out my Fallout 4 guy requested mod. It's in the work in progress section. And then the roof is the same. It's you know, covered in the nets from Akiras, just a bunch of boxes and stuff from USO, I think, basically all those boxes. The minigun is just a normal minigun mounted on what is that mounted on? Ah, yeah, a post and some part from OCD, just to give it like a little tripod. And then and these are just mirrors, again, just tilted, just to make a guard, basically. Pretty simple, but you know, effective. So I think that's about it from the outside. Ladders are from post supports and beams. There is two ladders there, as you can see, but the actual runs of the ladders, the steps, are just from the tower, not tower, sorry, this siren. I just put that ladder on because it looked a bit more interesting. Thought it looked a bit boring, just like that. So I put that on. And the only reason I put the ladder on in the first place was because I wanted this siren. I wanted the speakers on the top, basically, and they just stuck out a little bit too much, so I ended up I thought, well, I might as well make a sort of feature of it then. So I sunk them through the wall a little bit more than they needed to be, and then just put this ladder on the side so it looks like you can climb up, and that was it really. So the inside, this was probably the more sort of difficult thing really. Once I got the actual shape of the van, it was kind of easy. You know, the van was easy then. I was just sort of decorating it and just making it look like cooler and just putting more details on it. But the inside was a challenge, just because, you know, I've tried a different few layouts and I wanted to make it look functional, like everything was in there you need. You need a bathroom, you need a bedroom, a kitchen, dining area, you know, but then I'm trying to squeeze it in this like 1.5 square space, and yeah, so I did try a few different layouts, and this was the best layout I came out with, having the kitchen here. At one point the kitchen was in the back part and blah blah blah, just different layouts. They all sucked. This is the best one, and yeah, there's nothing really like special to show you in terms of what's used. You can pretty much see all the stuff that's used here. It's just different objects sunk in. I did include some parts, like, you know, like that is sticking through the wall. That is just one thing, but just doing things like that just helped me make it a little bit more interested in, and it just helped me hide things as well, you know, by incorporating the stuff that did jut through. And then I had a table here before, like, but as soon as I put the table in, I realised I wouldn't be able to use this entrance way to the bedroom. So I thought, what can I do with that? And then yeah, it just hit me that obviously you'd have a fold-up table in one of these things. So then I made the fold-up table out of the locker piece, which I can't click on because there's just too much stuff. But you saw it. There you go. You saw it in the video anyway, probably, that it folds out. The hinges are just from CVA, they're little pipes from CVA. And then the what is that curtain rod thing? Ah, okay, curtain rod. That's what I keep highlighting. I wonder what. It must have a big hitbox on it as well. So yeah, that's doesn't even need to be there. I just put that on so it looked like there was a rail for the door. So like a little track. So the floor, the hidden weapon cache in the floor, just a elevator door tilted using QwaPA. Same as the one for the roof hatch. Just another one. Now the cab is one of my favourite parts of this build actually. Another thing other than the wheel arches I wanted to really do was I wanted to make sure that I had a working cab in this. It was very, very important that if I came inside, you know, I didn't just want to have like a bunch of fake looking shit in the cab. It had to look like it was drivable. So yeah, the dashboard was the main component really in that. Take the dashboard out, it looks a bit weird. And these are just, I mean, these are just found in QwaPA in the car factory, but for some reason nobody's ever added them as assets to the game. I don't know why. So I asked my good friend Toys again to sort of put this in for me, so he added this. But that's just a dashboard on its own, and then I obviously put little bits in there just to make it look a little bit more realistic. But it really sells it, and the dashboard, I love that dashboard, and I probably will use it in other vehicles that I do as well. And then the pedals is just a wheelchair flipped upside down. 2 pedals, it's obviously an automatic. But yeah, and then the other little bits and things, I just stuck them in so it looks like there's all gadgets and gizmos, and they're just terminals. Like I've just flipped one upside down and on its back, and then another one there. Gas cans again. That's a Toys Out of the Pram edition. TV is just a TV flipped upside down. Don't actually know where these cabinets are from. Could be Akiras Clutter as well, I think. Not sure. The seats are from, I think, just one of the decor packs. I think, I can't remember who that's by. And that is about it, I think. But anyway, oh yeah, and the dice. I love the dice. How could I forget to mention the dice? That's again custom made from Toys at a Pram, he added that for me as well. Just a normal mirror and then the hanging dice. Also in my requested mod. But yeah, that's about it. So there's not a lot in it really, the cab, but it kind of really sells it, I think. And if you look how I've sort of sandwiched stuff in between the two benches that you can see that are the wheel arch. I specifically left that bit open there, and I kind of wanted it to be able to see into it, so it looked a bit, I don't know, it looked a bit like handmade, I suppose. It helped to make it look like it'd been restored, and so I kind of left that open, and I didn't bother trying to block it off. I did put some wooden planks, so at an angle, just to hide the actual suspension bit, just because I'm using this as a shelf, but I left those bits open. And then I've just sort of tried to squeeze things in between it, as you can see where I've put the console. They seem to fit perfectly. It was like it was meant to be. So yeah, I'm happy with that, how that turned out. Now, as I was saying, the bedroom and the bathroom area was sort of raised up a little bit, which helped make this place sort of look a bit more interesting. And it just about is the right height when you step up. It's not too small. I have messed around with the ceiling a little bit in different areas to hide doors and things, so some parts are different heights, but it makes it again look more interesting really anyway, just by having different levels of things. But yeah, there's nothing really in here that you probably can't see what they are. This challenge was really just about cramming everything in. So I've incorporated the wardrobe or drawers, whatever you want to call it, into the bed, making like a cabin bed type thing. My little backpack, why can't I click that calendar? No, that calendar. Another thing with a big hitbox. Backpack is just a normal backpack from Creation Club. It's one of the only cool things that the Creation Club has, I think. I love their backpack. And you can see there's different stuff in there, like the distress pulsar, just a normal shotgun I've stuck in there. What's that? A machete. The little gauge thing. Don't actually know what the gauge thing was, but why can't I click it? What was the gauge thing? Oh, the gauge thing was a stim pack. That's a little stim pack thing. And then a knife. You can just see it's a stim pack at the top. So yeah, just a little bit of fun really, but I did get asked a few times what mod that is, and so yeah, it's not a mod. See what I mean about the double fake doors on the inside as well, so I doubled them up. Nothing to talk about in here really. Shower head I think is from Akiras Clutter again. Yeah, nothing in there, it's pretty standard. Like I said, the challenge really was squeezing it all in more than anything. So I think that's pretty much covered the motorhome. Like I said with the tilting, you know, like this really couldn't be possible without the ability to tilt stuff, and that is by far I think the most crucial mod that any PS4 builder like needs to be getting and adding to their collection. And you know, like even if you took all the other modded stuff away from this, you know, you're still looking at a lot of tilt to get the kind of shapes right to make this even look anything like a van, regardless of what you had inside it and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't really stress how important that is really. You know, the difficult things about this kind of stuff really is just making sure that you get it all symmetrical then. So that kind of like helps sell it as well. But other than that, it's quite easy in that sense. It's just technically difficult. But I think we can move on now. So the Trudys Salvage Yard thing, that idea came from just a little brainstorming session I had with myself, pretty much trying to work out what the hell I can use this for. So I had the motorhome built. I built that in a couple of days, and I was like, okay, it's finished now. And I really wanted to just release it and show you guys straight away, but I thought, no, I can't just put this out because it looked a little bit, it just looked out of place, just having this kind of cool motorhome outside this diner that had nothing in it. It was just Trudy and her stupid drug-head son. And I thought, okay, why is my motorhome even parked here? Like, it really makes no sense. So I had a little chat to my mates on Discord, and I said, like, you know, what shall I do with this diner? Like, do you think I should decorate it? And one of the like guys on there, Martin, he said, yeah, definitely decorate it. So I was like, okay, now shit, that's exactly what I knew he was going to say. And I knew I needed to decorate, but I was hoping somebody would just go, nah, fuck it, just put the motorhome out there. But yeah, so I had a little idea of what I wanted to do with that one. I was going to make a bar, I was going to do all these other things, and it just seemed like Salvage Yard would kind of be the easiest because the amount of clutter that was already in the motorhome, I'd already put my build bar up quite a bit. If you look at that bar at the top, on the top right, this is a Workbench Anywhere build, and the workbench itself was completely empty, so I'd not built nothing at all on this save, and that's like 10% of the bar already. So if you've ever used this before, you'll know that that's a lot of items just being able to fill that bar. That bar's a pretty big bar. So I thought, I don't want to put like anything that has too much clutter in because it might not take it, might not cope. So yeah, Salvage Yard was kind of coming from that. I thought, well, I can just use cards and other objects, and it's not really going to have too much clutter in, and that was that. So then once I'd got the idea that Salvage Yard was where I was going to go with it, it was just a case of just putting all this stuff in, which is pretty easy. It might look like there's a lot of, you know, loads of stuff tilted, and there is a lot of stuff tilted, but you know, tilting for this kind of stuff isn't that hard because it doesn't have to be symmetrical, just has to look like it's lay there like over, you know, like gravity's taking a bit of effect on it, that's all. So it's pretty easy just to sort of chuck this stuff in. The hardest part is just trying to pick things, really. Like, you know, you've got all these menus with lots of different stuff in it, so you've got to go and try and find things that look like they should be there. So got little appliances heap there, and obviously the cars and stuff. I wanted the cars to look all usable rather than the old burnt out cars. So there is a couple of old burnt out cars, but most of them have got like, they look newish compared to most Fallout stuff. So it's like it's been salvaged and they're all good stuff, like, you know, the seats are all there and things. So I wanted that look, but other than that, it's just a bunch of cars stacked up, nothing really fancy there. And then the other thing was the RV on top. So I was going to build a shack for what's her face, Trudy, to live in, and the son. And then I thought, oh, you know, again, build limit, I didn't want to keep pushing it more and more. So I thought, what's the easiest way? So I just stuck this RV on top of the roof, and it just kind of was like really lazily, you know, I didn't have to do anything, I didn't have to build anything. But the way I've made it look a little bit more homely is just by decorating the outside of it, kind of, you know, with like plants and lights, and as you can see, and stuff like that. And it just makes it look a little bit more like it's used. But you can see, like, now I've put stuff in the window, but curtains and candles, but if you can see inside, there's nothing in there. It's just a dummy building. But there was no point ever decorating it, so I wasted time. And I put a little chimney on and antenna, and then the smoke effects. I normally get all my effects from CVA, but that one isn't. That one I think might be from. I think that might be out of Toys Out of Pram's requested mod, not my requested one. He did another requested mod. I think he's just called requested work in progress or something. But there's a couple of effects in there. I think that smoke's from that. And then I've just put like the detailing on and stuff as well from Akiras. And that's it. And all the supports as well. Important to have your supports. You don't want to have things floating. You can see there's supports on there. And there's a little bird added as well, a little crow, which is either from USO or Akiras, I don't know which one. It's in resources, I think. Same as the cat. In fact, I've added little birds everywhere really that nobody would have noticed these, I don't think. But I'll show you them now because, you know, they all add up to make it look a little bit more realistic. So there's a bird there, and there's even two on top of the crane. I don't know if anybody ever saw those two that I put up there. So wood piles and things, you know, all this stuff, just don't really need to talk about. It just sells the look of it. The cans, I think, are from Akiras Clutter. And then the inside, again, I wanted to make it look completely different to what people were used to seeing in here. It is a drumlin diner, but you know, I wanted to sort of make sure that when you got inside, you didn't really realise you were inside a drumlin diner, so that was important. But as for like the layout and things, I kind of just made this up as I went along. Had no idea where I wanted shit to go. In fact, by this time I was like kind of stumped. I was like, okay, what does a salvage yard type shop look like inside? I don't even know. So a lot of them, like when you go to these dumps and stuff, they have like a little office and that's about it. But I wanted this to kind of be a shop as well, so I just decided to display stuff that might be working electrical stuff inside, of course, to keep it, you know, out of the weather. Stuff that like looked like it could do any damage to someone or even be used potentially to harm the seller. I've put behind bars, obviously valuable stuff like power armor, and other just crap, basically, like, you know, loose stuff. Got tire rack, which is just built out of conduit and metal posts, and then stuff that like you would normally have in like a hardware store as well, like, you know, brooms, lawn mowers. I had a stack of concrete here, bags of cement, sorry, but if you'll notice, when I was loading up my van, I've taken some of that cement out, so it looked like I'd actually bought something, but no one's ever going to notice that. But that was just for my immersion. And then then we've got appliances all sort of in here, and then the staff room. You know, this was really just put in just for my sort of ease of decorating, really. But you know, by making the room smaller, it just gives me less room to decorate, and I could create a more cramped in sort of look without having to really fill it with stuff. So the staff room is fake. There's nothing in there. Just that fucking crackhead. I just stuck it. Like he's. I don't know if there's a way of getting rid of him through a quest or something. Whether if you shoot them or whatever they go. But I saved them, so he's just sat there now, like sorry for himself. So I just boarded him in and just put the staff room. I just made it look a little bit more like something was going on there by having stuff on the windowsill, like. So that was it. Doors are just tilted doors, ever so slightly. If you want to make a real very slight tilt like this, might sound a bit obvious, but you need to use other objects to balance your tilting box on. So for example, I use the bread box. I think most people do. You put the bread box on a chessboard to get this slight tilt, because tilting at this degree is very, very difficult if you're trying to sort of hold the box yourself, because if you try and make an item static what you're holding, it kind of jumps around a little bit. So by putting it on another box, like another object that's around about the same angle, you can get a precise tilt, same as the wheel arches. I think I used just a slightly sloped floor or a roof or something. I can't remember. I think it was a roof for that, and it just gave me the exact angle I wanted. So I think that's about it, really. So yeah, the rest of it that just sells the place is just by sort of strategically putting junk that looks like it's been there for years. Really, it's not that hard. It's just a case of just, you know, imagining you're there. I've got quite a really vivid imagination when I think about these places in my head. When I see it, like, I think as soon as I decided I want to do a salvage yard, I end up kind of like just going there in my mind, really, and looking around the place in my head and just thinking what would be around these kind of places. And if you really want to try and sell stuff, like, you kind of have things like this that, you know, I could easily have put a net across the front to make sure this is all like looks like it's protected from birds and stuff and things, you know. But it's like looks a little bit more natural that the net was up once and then fell down, and you know, it kind of just even if you don't know that's what's happened, it just looks like it could have happened. So the little things like that really help it make it look a little bit more alive. So yeah, let me just have a little quick walk around just to see if there's anything else, but I think I've pretty much covered it all. I don't really want to keep these, I keep doing these tours and they end up being about an hour long, these behind the scenes. I don't really want to drag them out more than they have to. Oh, the sign, I will mention the sign. Actually, I'll mention two signs. I normally make my own signs just because, well, there's not many other options really on PS4, so you have to make your own signs. But the letters, these are this a new mod that I've sort of been recommended to use, and it's EBM Deco, I think that stands for Essential Building Materials, can't remember, but yeah, EBM Deco, and it's got these cool letters in that they've been made in sort of CK and then put in the game, so I thought I'd give them a try, and yeah, they're pretty good. If the only thing I could ask for is if there was smaller, different size versions, basically. That's one of the things I would like to see in this mod, as it kind of, I think that's what's going to happen anyway. I think this is just kind of like a first stage, but yeah, definitely nice and quick to do. The actual sign itself is made from different stuff, like that's the Echo Lake Lumber Mill from Akiras Far Harbour add-on, I think, and I've just put a piece of half wall over it and then added the signs, added the lights, added the letters, sorry, and then added the lights just to make it a bit more interesting. And there's also another thing I think I've used on that mod, and that is the sign in Trudys, which I nearly forgot about to mention, sorry about that. But yeah, that sign is from the same mod, and it's just a set piece. It's like he's used the X-ray light and then just wrote on it. It's pretty cool. Definitely nothing else in here. No, I don't think so. So yeah, so cool mod. It's got other parts in there as well. There's a few other bits of like pre-decorated stuff. There's like some shipping container shops and things. So I haven't used any of that yet, but I might use it in future builds. Don't know. I don't normally use, pre-decorated stuff if I can help it in the way it's intended to use. I normally like blend them in other ways, like that part I think is also, that is from the same mod. It's obviously meant to be part of a wall, but I've just sort of used it as a bit of clutter there. So, but yeah, definitely some cool stuff in there, check it out. But other than that, I think that's about all there is to say about this one, and I hope you guys liked it. As always, I'll see you in my next build. Don't know where it's going to be yet, I haven't decided, but yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you soon.